Welcome back. You're watching Plain Speak. Ladies and gentlemen, a fresh face-off is now erupted between the centre and the opposition-ruled states. It's over the University Grant Commission's draft regulations. Autocratic anti-federalism and an attempt to undermine the state's authority. That is how the opposition has labelled the draft regulations while expressing their concerns. The UGC draft has united the opposition against the centre, and Tamil Nadu has in fact even moved a resolution in the assembly to withdraw the newly released draft guidelines. However, in an exclusive interview with CNN News 18, the UGC chairperson, Professor Jagdish Kumar, has cleared the air and called it a transparent move. But the face-off still continues, so let's break it down to better understand. Is the draft really a bone of contention or just another non-issue? Let's run you through some of the major reforms by the UGC first through this draft regulation. Under the new regulations, governors will be granted greater authority in the appointment of vice-chancellors. The UGC has also proposed that the position of vice-chancellor be open to industry experts and not just those with academic backgrounds. Another groundbreaking reform is the opening up of the VC position to non-academic professionals, which is a direct implication of the guidelines. In addition to the empowerment of governors, the reform also gives chancellors more authority in the vice-chancellor's selection process. Further, the reform also removes the cap on the hiring of contract teachers in universities and colleges. Some of those aspects are being spoken of by political parties and raising concerns with the central government. But what exactly is the issue here? The state governments have called the draft rules a direct assault on federalism. Countering this charge, the UGC chairman, in an exclusive with CNN News 18, said that one must rise above politics and unite for better and quality education for the sake of the students in the country. The state governments have alleged the governors will appoint politically motivated vice-chancellors, and this would hijack the state's education system. The UGC chairman to that says, while hitting back, that the new regulations will instead help avoid delays in the appointment of vice-chancellors. The state governments say that the new regulations will undermine their authority, but the UGC chairman said that UGC is open to suggestions by the state governments. And the question is, if the state governments are not willing to weigh in on the issue, then how valid is the charge which is being levelled by the opposition-ruled states, which is how this particular draft regulation goes against the Constitution. So we'll take that up in just a bit with our guests joining us this evening. First up, the top voices.
Outrageous move. The country needs more federalism. You can't rule the country from Delhi. This is travesty to democracy, point one. And point two, it's anti-federal and anti-democratic.
Unfortunately, this draft circular and this amendment will lead to a political appointment of the vice-chancellors. That will affect the autonomy of the higher education, autonomy of the university also.
UGC has come out with absolutely new guidelines. We have proposed now the new four-year undergraduate course is on. So, and the entire curriculum is being revised to make it basically global.
For a long time, it is always the chancellor who appoints the VC. So, whether in the previous regulation or in the current regulation, there is no change.
Let's quickly open this up with Kalyan Raban, leader of Tamil Nadu BJP, along with Syed Hafiz, spokesperson of the DMK, and Dr. Pramod Sharma, educationist, with us on the panel. Mr. Sharma, I'd like to begin with you and hoping for a neutral perspective here. So tell us, what we make of the most contentious of the aspects as per the UGC draft regulations, which is the appointment to the vice-chancellor's post in educational institutions, particularly universities and some of these opposition-ruled states, because much of this criticism is coming in from opposition-ruled states, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, so on and so forth. The one thing that they're saying is collectively that education is in concurrent list, and by coming out with these reforms, the central government is attempting to push it to the state list or the union list. Where do you stand on this, sir?
Yes, good evening to viewers, respected panelists and anchorman, and wishing all the happy New Year's, happy and prosperous New Year. In regard to the draft of a guideline for the appointment of the teacher and vice chancellor, personally, I don't think any harm in this because on the traditional method we are following since 75 years, 80 years, 60 years, I can say like that. But now question until and unless we will not try with the different and the new way, so till when we will go with the traditional way. So I don't think any harm. Of course, there are advantage and criticism, but ultimately it will be benefited to the administration as well as the students
Okay.
for the future career growth of the students, because the student will get opportunity to learn multidisciplinary from the expert of the industry, and even the administration will be more and more better. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that, Mr. Sharma. How would you respond, Mr. Hafiz? Because, with the DMK now moving a resolution seeking the withdrawal of this draft, UGC draft regulation, there are concerns that are being put forth by several opposition parties in some of these states. One is your party, and what you're saying is that this entire idea goes against the constitution of the country. It's anti-federalism. So why do you say that? Because any reform or change will first naturally be met with some opposition, but we will have to put the entire system through this experiment to be able to see whether it works for us or not.
First of all, I think the point here which I want to mention is that the union government does not believe something that is concurrent. There are certain things that is in the concurrent list. They treat things in the concurrent list as something that is in the union list. That is apparent with how they behave when it comes to education. And here we have the Prime Minister who speaks about the dark days of emergency. It was education which was in the state list was brought to concurrent list during the emergency, where the Prime Minister opposes the emergency and calls it a dark day, but still continues to enjoy or do things that were harmful during the emergency. One thing is that the education coming to the concurrent list. If he really feels that emergency was a dark day, he should undo things that have been done during the emergency, not strengthen things that were done during the emergency. That is one point. Now, these moves where the concurrent lists are being taken unilaterally by the union government is against the ethos and the spirit of the cooperative federalism, which the constitution enlightens every now and then. So that is one point. See, talking about reforms, what are reforms for, madam? Reforms are for something to make it better. We have an educational system which is proved to be the number one in the country. Why are you coming and meddling us? This country has multiple problems with multiple angles. So you cannot bring in one regulation for all the problem and make it as a ultimate medicine for the issues. You have a problem, different problem in Madhya Pradesh. You need reforms there. But Tamil Nadu is leading. Why do you want to come and screw the system?
No, but don't you think that, industry experts, perhaps a larger frame of mind around how there needs to be a certain revolution in the education sector as well in the country, and this is not just specific. Don't you think that's going to lead to some sort of betterment
you
progression?
Cannot, see, you cannot. You cannot come and disturb something that is already proven. Okay. We have reached all the goals that the NEP says. When it comes to GR, what their goal is, the Tamil Nadu has achieved. Why do you want to implement that on us? That is the problem. We are front runners. Madam, in fact, you should be following what Tamil Nadu is following when it comes to education, rather than coming and giving a diktat from there. Now, I'm telling you, they want to take all the powers from the state government, including things that have been developed from the wealth and the finances of the state government, where the governor will come and he will put the chancellor or vice chancellor of his choice. Now, okay, we are okay. Chancellor, let the chancellor decide. We have brought in a law, legislation, which is pending with the governor, emphasizing that the chief minister be the chancellor of the state-run universities. Why is it pending? That is a democratic issue. the the voters of the state have elected us as the people to rule for 5 years, and we bring in laws and legislation depending on that. But here,
Okay.
from Delhi, you want to take all the issues in the concurrent list to hijack the higher education system. You bring in UGC as a shield, and to disrupt the school education system, you
Okay.
bring in
Okay, so
national
you're saying
education policy and
why
try to
meddle with an
disrupt
already settled education, higher education system in,
not only
for
settled
instance,
but
a
a
state
proven
like
a
Tamil
successful
Nadu?
one.
You're saying that this is going to clip the powers of the state government in the education, in running educational institutions. Mr. Kalyan Raman, how would you respond to that?
First and foremost, we need to understand things from the historic perspective. Number one, the universities are governed by the UGC Act, as simple as that, which was passed as early as 1956. And the UGC notification of 2016 and 18 already read that the Vice Chancellor appointment is done through a search committee, which has a state representative, a governor's nominee, and the UGC nominee. It is the states of Tamil Nadu and Kerala which have been defying the notification. They are going against the UGC's direction, and they have been saying that we will only appoint a search committee based on our own whims and fancies, which is why Tamil Nadu has 6 universities, the chancellor role vacant still. You are working against the education system in Tamil Nadu, which is why you introduced a parity system called the Samachir Kalvi, due to which Tamil students can't even read, write, and speak properly today. They can speak.
But Mr. Raman,
do
do you think there could be valid fears or concerns to that? Because, you know,
this
the DMK,
Dravidian,
sir, also raised concerns around the whole 2024 NEET paper leak controversy and said this is the problem in centralizing the educational system in our country. So there are reasons that are being cited by them time and again in making this point.
where is the question of centralization here? There is no question of centralization here. We are talking about how a vice chancellor can be appointed. Is it centralization or is it making it more academic? It has to be made more academic. The incumbent government of the state wants to make it as a political activity. The DMK has been a corrupt system all through. That is why they want to appoint somebody who will work hand in glove with them for their correct practices in terms of allocations, the percentage that is taken away from the allocation in the name of education. Precisely that shall not happen. That is why UGC, which is a neutral forum, has come in to play a role, saying that the vice chancellor shall be appointed by the governor himself. Governor is a non-political entity. We all know that. He is a constitutional authority. He is not a political person. He is not a BJP man. So, the DMK per se has always been trying to work against the constitution, the interest of the constitution. This is why they have been defying it.
Okay, I see a big smile on Syed Hafiz's face the moment you spoke of the governor's non-political affiliations.
Passed by Tamil Nadu government will go where? We all know. It is of no significance.
No, but then there have been so many run-ins, Mr. Kalyan Raman, between the governor and the ruling government in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala. We've seen, you know, the governor government face-offs in all of these opposition rule states. So we can't say all is well. And politics also cannot be completely kept on the outside of this entire scenario.
No, in Kerala, what the communist government had done, what the Congress government had done, they have recommended just 1%. As against the norms of 3% being recommended for the VC role. What kind of activity is that? What kind of defense of laws, defense of rule, defense of the procedure?
Okay, Mr. Hafiz, a flip side to that argument is also that this is going to ensure that there is no delay in the appointment of vice chancellors, that there is no intermingling of politics and education in, you know, your state, for instance, that the vice chancellor is going to be somebody who's going to take the university, the institution forward, and doesn't necessarily have to be an academic. He has to be a versatile teacher or a leader.
So, first of all, what is the guarantee that the person who is going to be appointed by the governor is going on?
Mr. Raman, I'm coming to you. Let him respond.
No, first of all, you know to believe that governors are apolitical. Even the people who has the least knowledge of politics will not agree, because they know everyone who is appointed as a governor is inclined to the diktat of the center. That is what we are seeing in particular in the opposition ruled state.
But if that's the
So there is
norm,
a search committee.
if that's the norm,
It's
Said Hafiz, then the Congress also preferred left-leaning VCs in the past. So that argument goes or holds true for your ally also in the state.
Yes, yes. So that is why we are saying let the power be with the state government. They know what is better. The people will reject if the government, which is elected by the people,
But
does
how
not
will
do
the
well
state
in
government not
selecting
influence? How will the state government not influence the
my
decision
question
or
is-
choose the right person as the vice chancellor? If
Yes,
the
Hafiz,
power
there is an
rests with the
accountability.
state, then the same logic applies to what you are also
Suggesting that
saying.
Exactly why I'm saying, why are you spoiling an already set measure, set principle and ideas on how selecting VC is, when the problem is going to come again with the governor too? Now at least there's a accountability on the state government.
Okay.
If we involve ourselves in something that is restricting the state infrastructure when it comes to education, we are liable. People are going to throw us out. There is a check and balance, but where is the check and
Okay,
balance?
that's a valid point. Dr. Sharma, do you agree? The
both
responsibility right now lies with the state government. If there is some sort of political influence that is being exercised by the state government, they're the ones who have to answer the voter at the end of the day.
No, in this
So it is
regard,
not a
I want
political
to
question.
I'm coming to you. Mr. Kalyan Raman. Dr. Sharma, please.
Okay. In this regard, I would like to say that I believe in upgradation. Everywhere, even all the company and even that government has started the new education policy 2022, where the upgradation needed and required. Because until or unless we will not do the upgradation, in that case, again, I will repeating, so with the same pattern and involvement of the state government or central government, where this is not a matter whether the central government or state government. In the education, I don't think like political parties should get involved. And so what the new education policy has come, and governor will appoint the VC. I am agree with this, and I don't see any harm in that. Because of upgradation, it is needed.
Okay, vice chancellors traditionally are supposed to be the bridge between the administrative and the academic wing in any educational institution. Mr. Raman, do you think with these changes that are being proposed, it's in the draft stage right now, but it's going to ensure a smoother transition of power, and also the manner in which we follow a certain hierarchy in higher education in some of these states? Do you think that's going to become more efficient with these changes, and why? Why do you believe so?
I see what is happening is a visionary activity. Look at it. National education policy has been framed. In line with that, a few changes are being done for the sake of academic interest. We are aligning with the global education system by introducing 4 years educational graduation process. So these are all some of the changes that ought to happen, and they are happening today. Look at in Tamil Nadu case, let us take. In Tamil Nadu, at least 20% of the students cannot read and write properly in Tamil, our own language. That is because of the Samachir Kalvi introduced by the same DMK. So instead of focusing on primary education, that the DMK should focus on, they should abstain from entering into the higher education system. So that
but the concern, Mr. Raman, here seems to be of, not just the DMK, but also the left in Kerala, perhaps the TMC in West Bengal as well, that this is going to give a lot of powers to the governor. The governor is going to be calling the shots ultimately, which is going to leave no power with the state government, and that's what's been followed so far.
Is it a question?
Yes, Mr. Raman. 30 seconds, sir, we need to wrap up. Yes.
See, governor is a political person, everybody is aware of it. It is the Congress and the people like DMK who have influenced the governor system, the role of the governor, to make them as a political system. Whereas we have brought in, as BJP, we have brought in high degree professionals like APJ Abdul Kalam as the president of the country, and so many people as academic professionals in the university system, so as to improve upon the academic pursuit. which is happening today. So the rights of academicians being appointed,
Okay.
being vested with both UGC and the governor becomes appropriate. The state wants to have a say. That is why they are also aware.
Okay,
as
while you
part
say
of
that,
it.
Mr. Raman, Syed Hafiz is never going to agree to the fact or nod his head to the fact that the governor is a political figure in any of these states, and that's where the problem really comes in. But let's see how the academicians in the country respond to this and whether or not we do see an implementation move past the draft stage. That's all we could pack for you. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this evening. Time for Poonam Burde to take over on The Right Stand.